Welcome to rSlash Offmychest, where a stepfather fakes his own daughter's pregnancy to teach her a lesson. Our next Reddit post is from that one guy from Good Girls. When I was 15, my stepdad decided to teach me a lesson about responsibility in the most cruel and manipulative way imaginable. He lied and told me I was pregnant. It had come out that I had had premarital intercourse. He made me pee in a cup and claimed that he tested it. I didn't see what he did with it, but he came back and said that I was pregnant. I had no reason to doubt him. For roughly 5 months, 18 weeks, I believed I was going to have a baby. My body even seemed to respond. I gained weight, had morning sickness, cravings, and even felt what I thought were kicks. I mentally prepared for this child. I grieved the life that I thought that I would lose as a teen mom, but also grew to love the baby that I thought was growing inside of me. My reputation at school took the expected hit, and then the hit that you'd expect when I didn't end up having the baby. Yep, I became that girl. When I finally asked about getting prenatal care, he laughed and told me that he had lied the entire time. It was at the dinner table, and I'll never forget my mental state shattering. I was devastated, among many other things. To make things worse, he found the pregnancy journal that I'd been writing in every week for the baby to one day read. He confiscated it and quoted it back to me, laughing at my thoughts and feelings for weeks afterwards. It felt like I'd lost a child, even though there was never a baby. It always felt wrong to say that I suffered a miscarriage, so I never felt like I could talk to somebody about the kind of grief I felt. This experience has haunted me for years. It's left me with trust issues, trauma, and a lingering grief that's hard to explain to anyone who hasn't been through something similar. I've tried to find others who have had an experience like mine, but I haven't found anything. I wanted to share my story here because I feel like this is the kind of thing that hasn't been talked about. If you've been through something similar, I'd love to hear from you. And if not, thank you for letting me get this off my chest. Down in the comments, someone asks, how's your relationship with your mom after that? Obviously, he's a piece of garbage, but I'd have a hard time forgiving her for letting it go on like that. And OP replies, she thought that it was a good idea at the time and has been very much, oh, good grief, about my feelings. We're no contact. Damn, down in the comments, we have this story from Dopekin. My dad lied about me having cancer when I was 16. It was a Friday night, and he was upset at the fact that I had the audacity to go out to the movies with my boyfriend at the time. I had just had my yearly physical and blood work a day or so prior to this. Anyways, it's the middle of the movie, and I get a bunch of missed calls and a call me now text from him. On that call, he explained to me that they found something in my blood work that indicated cancer. I went home that night sobbing, and he told me to prepare to go to the hospital the following week for more tests. He was dead serious. And it really hit me, like, oh my god, I'm going into the hospital. I'm probably getting chemo. I'm gonna lose my hair. I could literally die. The next morning, after a sleepless night of, freaking out about the fact that I likely have cancer, he admitted to me that he'd lied. His excuse was that he was drunk and feeling sad at the fact that I was growing up. And yet, he still doesn't understand why I went no contact with him. Yeah, the common theme in these stories is these parents are trying to teach their kids a lesson. But the lesson these kids learn is never trust that parent again. Our next Reddit post is from the Mystic Rose. I've reached the edge of what I can bear. I'm 28 and I've been with my fiance for just over 3 years. We lived together with my 4-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. 3 weeks ago, I found out that I'm pregnant again. At first, I was overjoyed, naive enough to think that we were finally creating the stable family I'd always wanted. He grew distant the very next day. He ignored my excitement, started coming home late, and kept his phone glued to him at all times. I began noticing strange calls and those discreet social media notifications that vanished too quickly. My gut told me to investigate. I almost wish I hadn't. He's been secretly hooking up with my older sister behind my back. She was the one I always tolerated, even though she drags drama wherever she goes. She would hug me when relatives were around, pretend to be the supportive older sibling, then turn around and badmouth me to her friends. I never imagined she would crawl into my life this deeply. It felt like a slap in the face to read their messages calling me clueless for not noticing. He told her about the pregnancy before he was honest with me about his doubts, and they joked about how stressed I would be raising another child. My sister bragged that our entire family thinks that she's the more interesting and more popular sibling. Meanwhile, I'm just the quiet one who apparently deserves this. I don't know if they're still meeting in secret or if they just get a kick out of hurting me. My fiancé denies everything whenever I confront him, says that I'm hormonal, that my imagination is running wild. My sister keeps messaging me, telling me I should keep my mouth shut and stop being dramatic. I'm done hiding my anger. My mother wants me to talk it out calmly, but how do I fix something so broken I can barely breathe? My fiancé thinks that I'll just accept this. He's counting on me being too shy or too pregnant to do anything. Tomorrow, I plan to blow this up in front of the entire family. We're supposed to have a casual get-together at our parents' house, ironically to celebrate my pregnancy announcement. I'll gather my phone logs, the screenshots, and all those humiliating texts they sent to each other. Once all the relatives have settled in, I'll put everything on display. No more secrets. I might burn everything in the process. I might lose any chance of a pleasant co-parenting scenario. But I feel like I have no other way to reclaim my dignity. I've been crying nonstop for days. My nerves are shot, and all I get from my fiancé is either silent treatment or insults. My sister taunts me and acts like I'm worthless. I see no reason to protect them anymore. I don't know what happens next. Maybe they'll run off together. Maybe they'll lie or twist things around to make me look insane. My fiancé hasn't contributed much financially, so I worry about affording my daughter and this potential new baby on my own. Yet, I can't pretend that everything is normal. I have to protect whatever self-respect that I have left. I'm going to set my entire world on fire tomorrow. Part of me feels terrified. The other part is numb. Regardless, I'm done letting them tiptoe around my heart. If they want my silence, they should have kept their betrayal better hidden. Let everyone see exactly who they are. That's all I have left. Then, 2 days later, OP posted an update. When I arrived at my parents' house, everyone was already there, including my ex-fiancé and my sister. My mother tried to pull me aside, whispering that we should talk first. I stayed calm, walked straight into the living room where everyone was sitting, and asked them to listen. They looked confused. My sister immediately rolled her eyes, and my fiancé mumbled something, probably hoping that I'd stay silent. I started reading the most shocking parts of the messages that I found between the two of them. They mocked me, joked about me not noticing anything, and said that I deserved this. I had timestamps proving that he was sneaking around with my own sister while I was at home with my daughter. My sister stood up and accused me of lying, her voice defensive and low-pitched. But I just kept reading. The messages spoke for themselves. I revealed how he told her about my pregnancy before even discussing it with me, and how they laughed about me being stressed raising another child. My fiancé tried to dismiss me, claiming I was overreacting and misinterpreting the situation because of my emotional pregnant state. He even blamed my mental health. By then, he stormed out of the room and my sister started crying. My dad stared at the floor, silent, while my mother looked horrified. Finally, my sister snapped and stormed out, yelling that I was a dramatic liar who blew everything out of proportion. Now, the fallout begins. My fiancé, or rather, my ex-fiancé, has been texting me nonstop. One moment he says he's sorry, the next he blames me for humiliating him. He shows zero genuine remorse. He's just mad that I exposed him. My sister calls me horrendous names, says I ruined her marriage, and refuses to take responsibility. She insists that I'm making up drama. Honestly, I don't even know if they're still seeing each other or blaming each other for being caught. Either way, their secret is out, and that's all I wanted. I'm now talking to a lawyer because this man barely contributed financially before. I have to protect my daughter and ensure that I never have a child with him. The thought of raising 2 kids alone is terrifying. I feel numb and heartbroken at times, but I also feel a strange sense of relief. At least everyone knows the truth now. I exposed everything that day in the living room, but at least I'm no longer being trampled on in silence. My sister and ex-fiancé can no longer laugh behind my back. Our next Reddit post is from Secret Culture. It all started with one candle. One! I bought it on a whim because it smelled like cinnamon rolls, and I thought, wow, my apartment could use some good vibes. What I didn't realize was that this single decision would spiral into my entire personality. A friend came over, smelled the candle, and said, "Oh my god, this is amazing! You're so into candles, huh?" I don't know why, but I just went with it. "Yeah, I love candles," I said casually. Except now I have to live up to the title of Candle Guy. Fast forward 2 years. I'm buried in candles. Every birthday, every Christmas, every just because gift, candles. Vanilla, lavender, pumpkin spice, midnight forest, sea breeze, mahogany teakwood, whatever the hell that means. I have an entire cabinet dedicated to them. People don't even ask what I want anymore. They just assume it's candles. I've tried to backtrack, but it's too late. Last week, a coworker handed me a candle as a thank you gift, and I had to pretend that I was thrilled, even though it smelled like a sweaty pine tree. It's gotten to the point where people expect me to have an opinion on candles. At a dinner party recently, someone asked me, "What's your favorite scent profile?" Scent profile? Bro, I don't even know what that means. I panicked and said, bergamot? But I don't even know what bergamot is. OP, I also don't know what bergamot is. What is that? It is an orange. Okay, a type of orange. Now my apartment smells like 17 competing scents, and I'm pretty sure my cat is plotting my death because of it. I don't know how to stop this. If I tell everyone the truth that I don't even like candles that much, will they feel betrayed? Will they demand their candles back? So here I am, the reluctant king of candles. If you ever come over, feel free to take one. Or 10. Please, I'm begging you. Wow, down in the comments, we have amazingly good advice from Disco Britches. Tell everyone you started to get frequent headaches, bordering on or turning into migraines, and your doctor suggested you log your surroundings when the headaches start. And the common denominator seems to be heavy scents and fragrances. Meaning your candles are triggering these headaches, so you have to remove them all and can't bring any more into your home. Then re-gift or donate what you currently have. Nobody's feelings will be hurt, and you'll stop receiving them. Our next Reddit post is from Anonymous Redditor. I have always known that I was adopted. It's never been a huge secret, and never really could be because I look so different from my adoptive family, even though all of us are white. My biological mother, Sally, left me a written note explaining why she was choosing to relinquish her rights to me. She was only 16 at the time of my birth and placed me up for adoption. When I turned 18, I began searching for her and easily found her. Her last name at the time, she's married now to my biological dad, was very unique, and she's quite popular on the radio show that she's a host on, even though it's a relatively small due to the size of the town that she's in. So that helped as well. I couldn't tell you how many times I've called to ask her for relationship and career advice and other things moms are good at doing. I always cry after because I know who she is, but she doesn't know who I am, and she has the loveliest voice and personality. I take after her in some aspects, both personality and appearance-wise. Same for my biological dad. As I mentioned before, she's now married to my biological dad, and they have 6 more kids together. Their youngest looks very similar to how I did at that age. I wish I could actually be a sister to my siblings. My bio dad has an excellent job, and they seem to have a great life. I've been sort of stalking them all over Facebook since I found them, and it makes me yearn to have a close relationship with them. I'm not sure if it would be a good idea to ask them to be in their life because I don't know if they've made my siblings aware of me, but I'd imagine not since they're religious, though not the super nutty variety. And they voice the fact that they're against premarital relations, as they call it. Maybe I'm just a mistake that they'd rather leave in their past because they're ashamed they had a baby out of wedlock. I don't know. I'm 22 now and married, expecting my first baby in July. Pregnancy has made me admire my biological mom and her sacrifice to try to give me a better life than one that she could at the time. My adoptive family is not very supportive of me wanting to get in contact with my biological family either, and they've threatened to cut me off emotionally if I contact my biological family again. I like this response from French Waco. Call her on the radio, ask her for advice saying, "I've been adopted and I found my biological mom. Do you think I should call her and see what her answer is? Our next Reddit post is from Informal Teaching. I don't know how to start this, but I need to get it off my chest because I've been dealing with it alone, and I'm losing my mind. For the past 6 months, I've been struggling with a persistent fungal infection in my butthole, and it's gotten to the point where it's affecting every aspect of my life. At first, I thought it was just some irritation from working out and sweating a lot, so I tried some over-the-counter creams. They didn't work, and the itching and burning only got worse. I finally worked up the courage to see a doctor, and they diagnosed me with a fungal infection. They gave me antifungal creams and told me it should clear up in a few weeks. Well, it didn't. It's still here, and now I feel like I'm stuck in this endless cycle of discomfort and embarrassment. The worst part is the shame. I can't talk to anyone about it because who wants to admit they have butt fungus? I've canceled plans with friends, avoided dating, and even stopped going to the gym because I'm so paranoid someone will somehow notice. The constant itching and pain makes it hard to focus at work. And I find myself snapping at people because I'm so frustrated and tired from not sleeping well. I've tried everything: creams, powders, switching to loose clothing, changing my diet, even sitting on a towel at home to keep things dry. Nothing works, and I feel disgusting all the time. I'm so scared this will never go away, and I'll have to live like this forever. I just want to feel normal again. I know it's not life-threatening, and I feel stupid for being so upset about it, but it's taken over my life in ways that I never imagined. I don't know what to do anymore, but I needed to get this out because it's eating me alive. Down in the comments, No Development says exactly what I was thinking. I came here because I thought, haha, butt fungus. But now I'm absolutely terrified to contract butt fungus. I sincerely hope it clears up for you. That was rSlash, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit episodes every single day.